I own 3 rental properties and one that I live in. I have a mortgage on 2 of them. I got my bonus, which is a lump sum of 2 years. Congrats. And I liquidated my stock options. I have enough cash now to pay off all mortgages, which are the 2 that you have. Shall I pay off the mortgages or keep the mortgages running and purchase a new property? Muhammad Alwan, thank you for your question. Thank you everyone for joining us on The Brief. I'm Makram Hani, analyzing property so that you can be more informed. Muhammad, congrats on your bonus. Many people sit in this situation within their investment life, within their careers, and within their journey, they have a decision to make. Shall I pay off a mortgage or not? First, Muhammad, tell me that you've listened to us before and you made the right choice of remortgaging or getting the right mortgage with the right rates and fixing them for the coming few years today. If you have done that, then you hold good mortgages, which probably are at low rates, lower than whatever will come afterwards within the coming few years, fixed for 5 years. So in other words, you will live a cycle through, most probably, or a short and a medium term cycle. And you own a property that is paying for itself, cash flowing positive as I expect, and you have another rental property on the side of it. So you have a good, decent enough portfolio. Will you buy a new property or 2 new properties with the money that you have? Or would you go ahead and close the mortgages? I would never advise anyone to pay off a mortgage unless the holding does not make sense anymore. When does the holding not make sense? It doesn't make sense whenever the cost of holding goes up. In other words, you're not able to justify that holding or your investment, the equity you have in it. It's not giving you a good cash on cash return because the price could have grown significantly. You're not able to refinance and get equity or more equity out. So those elements should sit together, and then it doesn't make sense to hold anymore because the amount of cash flow that you're getting is not significant enough to make it a good enough return relative to the equity you're getting. Now, unless, again, you're expecting the rental market to improve or the rent on your property because you may have a legacy tenant there, your rental to improve, and then it may make sense. Unless those are expected on a property that is not giving you a good cash on cash return, then you would, yes, pay off the mortgage or maybe sell the property. So reposition fully. So to answer your question specifically, shall I pay off the mortgage or shall I take this money and invest it in a new property? Question number 1 to you. Do you have the ability to get a 3rd and a 4th mortgage? If yes, go ahead. Get a 3rd and a 4th mortgage. Improve your mortgage if you haven't yet, the mortgages that you have already. And go for 2 new properties or 1 new property, depending on what do you prefer. This means that you're growing your portfolio of right property. Again, every single property you own and every single property that's coming should be stress tested. The bigger your portfolio is, the more you need to take care of the cash flow, take care of the possibility of any mistake happening here and there. Because when you have 1 property, if it cash flows negative for a month, that's probably $1,000. You can manage it. If it cash flows negative for 12 months, that's $12,000. Most of the time, if you have a safety net, it's still manageable. However, if you have 5 properties, that number immediately multiplies by at least 5. So be careful when you do that. Now, at the same time, you have the cash today. If you have the ability to get a mortgage and you don't need to buy property, you can be more choosy in buying the property, the right property. Again, I say the right property. In a market where there's so much built and there's expected swings in market demand and market supply, it's advisable to go for the ultimate property. Perfect location, cannot go wrong. This is what you need to look at. You tell me, yeah, but I prefer to own 4 properties rather than 1. I'm diversifying. I tell you, you're diversifying the goodness, the possibilities, the opportunity out of your investment. if you buy one property for 5 million, most of the time it's better than having 10 properties for 500,000 dirhams each, because you are over there having a bigger risk of dealing with more tenants, which may not give you as easy an experience as one tenant paying a huge amount for a 5 million dirhams property. So be very careful in what you buy if you're buying new. Assess your holdings first, because I'm not sure all the time people do hold property that does make sense. Now, they are lazy sometimes about selling off the property and buying another. This happens to everyone because it's not an easy process to find the right property. And you say, you know what, let me keep it. It's working well. Assess what you have. Decide what do you need to sell, what do you need to keep. And then if you're able to take new mortgages, go ahead with it and buy new property. Again, this is what I would do. Your journey is slightly different because you're in a different position to me. You probably do not have the cash reserve I have, or maybe you do. It seems that you're someone who has his ducks in a row, so maybe you do the kind of cash reserve. Maybe you don't have the cash reserve per property that I have, because to me, every property or few properties are an entity and stand on their own, and they need to be able to stand even if I'm not there. And I have personal cash reserve, and I have the ability to get lending or borrowing that you may not be able to get at all times, because I have my roots to the right lenders. So all of those do matter. Short, sweet, and easy answer to you. If you're capable, if you hold the right property, you have the right mortgages that have been improved recently, and you can get more mortgages, buy new property, grow your portfolio, grow your cash flow. This is exactly what you'd be doing. At the same time, you're having your tenants pay off your mortgages, so pay for most of your property. I hope that I've added value through my answer and made it as easy as possible to take that choice. I'm not deciding for you. I'm advising you what would I do from where I sit, which may be different than where you sit today. Thank you for submitting the question. I hope that everyone else benefited from it. I encourage everyone to submit questions. Maybe others may have questions that may be answered in a similar manner and do benefit everyone in our community. Thank you for joining me on The Brief. I'm Makram Hani, analyzing property so that you can be more informed. Have a good day.